Look at that bulge. Killing me, killing me. You know, the first liar ain't got a chance. So how the hell is it we go on after that? Let's get back in focus. We're really close to being on schedule. We're going to try to keep that throughout the day as well. Our next speaker is going to answer a few questions, talk a little bit about a relationship that we have with an agency. But I want to tell you a little bit about this person first. Joseph Bart McAtee, we call him Bart. Our relationship with him and his family really go back to when his dad, Joe McAtee, was chief of police for the city of Indianapolis. After that, Joe became sheriff of Marion County for 2 terms. Both Bart and his brother are motor officers. One previously with the Marion County Sheriff's Department, the other with the Indianapolis Police Department. Now they're both on the same department with INPD. Since we do so much in the Indianapolis area, we're a statewide organization. We've got wonderful relationships with law enforcement all over the state, but we do so much in Indianapolis that I want to make sure that we had somebody from INPD to talk a little bit about that and answer some basic law enforcement questions for you. So welcome a good friend of ours from INPD, Bart McAtee.
Thanks a lot, Jay. I was going to use my introduction so I didn't have to take any questions. Hey, I am Bart McAtee. I'm with the Indianapolis Metropolitan Police Department traffic branch currently. I was on the Indianapolis Police Department many, many moons ago. Excuse me. I was a member of the motorcycle drill team on IPD. I went to the Marion County Sheriff's Department. I was one of the original members of the Marion County Sheriff's Department motorcycle drill squad. Shortly after I started there, I became the drill squad commander, and I held that position until we merged. I am currently on the Indianapolis Metropolitan Police Department motorcycle drill team. I am the commander of the motorcycle drill team, and hopefully everybody in here has seen this before. And I could spend the whole day talking about the drill team, but that's not really what I'm here for. Like Jay said, we've had a long relationship with ABATE. I encourage anyone that ever comes to me, which my son did a couple years ago, says, hey, I want to ride a motorcycle, fine, go to the ABATE course, and then we'll talk. He still hasn't had time to do that. He's in love and all sorts of other silly things. So he's still not riding a motorcycle, especially mine. Several years ago, NHTSA, we had seen an increase in motorcycle fatalities. And, the motorcycle fatality increase, motorcycle fatalities don't compare to automobile fatalities. So, there's tough to get money and get additional attention to that. But NHTSA and ABATE, and we had a couple of motorcycle summits, and I actually went to Chicago in a serious snowstorm. We had this summit, and to be perfectly honest, there is, I hate to say this, there is additional, how do I put this, attention being focused on motorcycle riders. And believe it or not, our goal with the traffic enforcement is to reduce crashes and fatalities. I don't care about revenue. Police officers don't care about revenue because if they ever give us a percentage of what we write, you probably ought to turn your licenses in because we write a lot of tickets. But that's not the case today. Our job today is to decrease accidents, and we get a lot of grant money for accident investigation or accident to enforce high accident intersections and areas where we have high accidents. And we are now encouraged to watch motorcycles. So it's not that I don't target, and I don't know of any police officer specifically targeting. There's not that many motorcycles out there compared to cars. And there's a lot of these people driving cars that are just idiots. That's the nicest thing to say. I watched a show last night about World War II pilot, and he said, it's a target-rich environment. It is. There's a lot of cars out there. So that's where our focus is at. But, today, and I'll be perfectly honest, today, fact is radar doesn't like motorcycles. Motorcycles are tough to pick up on radar when there's cars around. But here's the bad part. That's a good part for you. The bad part is today, almost all the state troopers in the state and me, I have a laser, and that laser is really good at picking up anything that moves. I mean, I take time to see, you see somebody walking 2 miles, 3 miles an hour. They'll pick up anybody and anything. So that's important. It's important that you know that. And Jay talked earlier. Loud pipes. Hey, I have a personal motorcycle. It may just barely be legal. I would never ride anything that's not legal. I'm getting distracted by Jay's picture on the screen. But yeah, that's true. But the fact is, unless you draw attention to yourself with those loud pipes at 2 a.m. riding down my street, against a rev limiter, for the most part, we police officers, especially as traffic officers that own motorcycles, that's not high on our priority list, motorcycles and loud pipes. Most of us have them. So, it's one of those things where if you don't draw undue attention to yourself, you're not going to see us too much, And I know the handlebar issue, and I'll take some questions on that. I mean, the handlebar height issue, that's come up. I can't remember if I have ever, I probably have. I'm sure somebody has talked themselves into a handlebar height ticket at one point. But I don't remember ever writing a handlebar height ticket. I talked to some state police motorcycle officers in court a couple days ago, and I said, hey, what's the deal with this handlebar height? And they said, we don't know, we don't write those. So, you're going to find an officer out there that, that'll do that. I have the law. It's in the law, 15 inches. It's probably time to revisit that law. And I talked to Jay before we started, and that's something that I can probably give you all sorts of my opinions on why that law is in place. And I'm sure that's an old, late 40s law, and at the time they probably were targeting a certain audience. But today, that doesn't necessarily apply. I'm sure if we go to some motorcycle dealers, we can find some factory motorcycles that violate our law right now, sitting on the showroom floor. So, but the bottom line is, the law says 15 inches. You will find police officers that will enforce that. Once again, you may find officers that stop people for that at 2 o'clock in the morning, and once they find out, hey, they haven't been drinking, which is probably really what they're looking for, you're on your way.